gay activist or otherwise feminist, whatever BS you follow, right? A lot of times, one of the things they're going to say to me is they're going to say, why do you care what people do behind their closed doors? Because it's a free country. Because it doesn't matter what people do in the privacy of their own homes. So that's like saying, would you care if your neighbors and all the rest of your neighbors are running a maximum drug cartel tunnel system through their houses? Would you care about that? Right? Well, what if, better yet, what if you have people around you and everybody around you is just running drugs all day between your neighbors, right? They're all doing it in their basement. It's all behind closed doors. You don't see none of it. But you know that they're doing nothing but dealing drugs, right? Potentially dangerous drugs, as well as firearms on a daily basis. They're just trading this stuff like by the dozens, right? You would probably argue that that's probably something you don't want. Well, why not? That's not something that affects you. Who cares what's going on behind them doors, right? You care because what goes around comes around. It's going to affect you one way or another. You know that those drugs are going to one day come up to your porch. Those weapons are one day might be turned on you and you might get shot, right? Those that marijuana, whatever, crack cocaine, whatever it might be, that's going to circulate to your kids, and you don't feel that your kids are going to be safe if you got people dealing drugs and weapons and so on and so forth, and they're over in your neighbor's basement. You wouldn't want that. Well, this is very similar. It's exactly the same thing. You got men fornicating and doing homosexual acts with other men, right? And that has its ramifications on society. That's going to not stay in the bedroom. That comes outside the bedroom as well, because people don't only act on the bedroom. I don't know why people even say it's only in the bedroom and the privacy of their own homes, because it's really not. They do parades. They're affecting culture. They're blurring gender lines and strong gender roles that are really important to the way the society runs. Okay, you ever wonder why this society is full of estrogen? You ever wonder why there's no real dudes in the society anymore? You hear that a lot online. Yo, where's all the real dudes at? Where all the real niggas at? You hear that a lot. You hear that a lot, right? There's a reason for it. It's not accidental, right? It's not. You ever realize there ain't no professionals anymore, right? It's because there's no real men out there. You hear that a lot also. There are no real men out there. It all stems from somewhere. It's not a... You ever heard the expression... I don't know if you guys watched The Intern. It's a good movie, actually. I just watched it. And they made a reference to how... pretty much it's a premise of how an old man gets an internship because he goes out of retirement and decides to go into workforce again. And they make a point as to how he's a man and the rest of those interns or the rest of the people who are at the job who are like 50 years younger than him are not men. And they also make a point to say that the generation of men has been lost with an old man like him, which is by and large very true. I invite you to watch the film. I greatly enjoyed it. I thought I wouldn't. I thought it would be a feminist BS film that pushes feminism, but in the end, I feel that it did justice to men as well. So I like that film, right? The case in point is there's a lot of fake men now. There's a lot of fakers, And what they need to do is they need to come together and they need to stop being fakers. That's the bottom line. First of all, you got to lift some weights, right? If you're not lifting in the gym, lifting weights, man, there should be a law. There should be a law that you have to lift weights, but that's neither here nor there. Case in point, okay, what people do in their houses affects you. And if you don't think so, you're like a turkey sticking your head in the sand. That don't make no sense. Of course, what people do affects you. That's like saying in the times of the Civil War, right? If somebody has a black man in the basement that they're using as a slave, that's not going to affect you. Of course, it's going to affect you. You know, if you don't like it, you better rise up in arms against it, right? You better go ahead and you better go and join the Union or join the North to go up against the South. Right? Because it's going to affect you. You can't stick your head in the ground and pretend that stuff's going on all around you don't affect you, that it only stops and ends in the bedroom.